Hello, music lovers! Welcome to the Squiggle Spin,
Squiggly.
brought to you by Rock the Alphabet here on MM Radio.
That's it.
Coming to you each Friday at 12 p.m. U.S. Central Time, 6 p.m. in the UK, and 7 p.m. in the EU.
Oh, Blockers, I know your real name. I know your real name. Most people don't know your real name.
Bringing to you the best from our featured indie artists, their featured songs, and now, for this season, interviews with your favorite indie bands.
I'm glad you asked that question.
And where can you find this?
Oh, that's easy.
It's right here on the Squiggle Spin.
Music brings people together.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy, because you're into the spin. And now, your featured song. All right, music lovers, before we get into today's featured song, I'd like to get to know more about today's featured artist. The artist is Drown Again. Today's featured artist is one from the northwestern state of Washington, specifically the city of Kennewick, the anchor of the Tri-City region off the Columbia River. Kennewick is roughly 3 hours southeast of Seattle, Washington. This is where our featured artist, Drown Again, calls its home. Formed in early 2021, internationally, mind you, with members both in Ireland and the US. How is this possible, you ask? Well, it all began when Frank and his son were recording a song and required the assistance of a vocalist. After some searching, Frank found vocalist Rob, who accepted the challenge to record the song. After some time of getting to know each other, the two discovered that they had a lot in common, including being the fathers of sons with autism. The two seasoned musicians also discovered that the chemistry between the two of them was ample enough to create a long-lasting musical relationship, and thus became fast friends. Their collaboration began to grow over time as they began working on more songs, eventually requiring them to search out other musicians to help in the recording of the album. Frank enlisted former bandmates Eric, who is the bassist and main lyricist, and drummer extraordinaire Jason. For this recording, they called in on special guests to help spice things up, calling on the skills of guitar virtuoso Claudio and also Danny from the band Marbin. Musically, the hard-hitting group of friends pulled together to bring a unique vibe and character to the music scene. Now, while they affirm that the list of musical influences they have is a hefty one, to this listener's ears, they could easily headline a tour with the Foo Fighters and Saliva. So, music lovers, with their award-winning talent under their fingers, Drown Again is definitely a band that you should keep an eye on.
Hey, this is Carlos Spicy Wiener, and you are into the Squiggle Spin with Squiggly Myers on MM Radio.
Thanks, Carlos. Alright, music lovers, today's featured song is Drown Again by the band Drown Again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What a sight, what a crowd, what a show. Here we go again with another carnival of sound, music lovers, and all brought to you by Drown Again. Drown Again's namesake is one in the chamber for sure, and ready for rapid fire. Now, this song kicks in with the fade-in, reminiscent of production motifs of the 70s. An unexpected surprise, if you ask me. As we're drawn in by the song's ferocity, we're met by Jason's caveman jungle drumming. All while the guitars and synth pad create an ambiance as the song breaks through in full force. This anthemic piece makes no apologies for its heavy stance, as the churning rhythm builds a foundation for the vocals to take center stage. This song is reminiscent to the new wave of British heavy metal, paying homage to bands such as Def Leppard and Judas Priest, with a little Whitesnake in there to boot. Lyrically, it tells of the struggle within that many seem to share. A struggle of an overwhelming feeling of regret and of things that could have been. It can seem hard when we lose someone who is close to us, or when we miss out on an opportunity. Sometimes we can get lost or seemingly stuck in the memory of a familiar setting. But we must encourage ourselves to look at the here and now to be able to pull ourselves out of that rut. This may seem like a daunting task, music lovers, but if we take it one step at a time, we can achieve it. After all, we can't move forward if we're weighed down by the what ifs. Drown Again makes the call to encourage us to come out of the fog. Shake it off, my friend. The future is what you make of it. So, music lovers, in this humble man's opinion, Drown Again has a good rocking sound that appeals to the mainstream, but challenges the listener to dig down into the marrow of its progressive roots. Well, music lovers, that's it for this episode of the Squiggle Spin. Join us again next week when we will be reviewing another featured song by another featured indie artist. This is Squiggly Myers reminding you, life is short, my friends. Don't forget to turn up the music. Now let's listen to Drown Again by Drown Again here on MM Radio.